Explosive allegations of political interference, crime syndicates and sabotage of key investigations have rocked South Africa's policing structures. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi has publicly accused Police Minister Senzo Mchunu of shutting down a high-performing task team investigating political killings. The EFF has come out in support of Mkhwanazi and they're calling for urgent accountability. We're joined by Leigh-Ann Mathys from the EFF. Leigh-Ann, good evening to you and thanks for your time this evening. Just share with us your official response to what we heard a few hours ago, claims of political interference by the Police Minister.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having us. I think just claims of political interference is putting this thing very mildly. The South African Police Service is the chief crime syndicate operating in this country. All other crime syndicates answer to it. And we raised this during the budget debate in Parliament on Friday. And if South Africans even know the rot that is happening in the South African Police Service, nobody will even bother to try and get justice there. We would actually end up as a country that is just going to operate on mob justice. There's nothing. And the only way we're going to clean up that South African Police Service is that all those high-ranking officials must be fired, they must reapply for their jobs, and they must be vetted independently. Because even the vetting process is not even proper in the South African Police Service as it stands. We do call, obviously, at this point, the fact that we can have a whole minister saying he will apply his mind in good time, and we have the deputy, Sabia, saying that he'll respond in good time and that he hadn't had an opportunity to listen to the press the press conference of the KZN commissioner is very telling. It's like there's no urgency. We haven't had anything from Ramaphosa. We had crime intelligence bosses being arrested last week, and it seems like it's just business as usual. We do not have protection in this country at the moment. How is it that a minister does not know that a KZN commissioner has gathered evidence? Or how does Sabia not know that there's a KZN commissioner that has gathered evidence against them and is going to present that? What is that telling us about the state of the South African Police Service?
And we'll come back to that because I think it's an important one to circle back to. There are two things, though. The one is Lieutenant General The DNC Lieutenant General Shadrack Sabia has responded. He responded on our program about an hour or two ago, and he's basically saying it's disappointing what Mkhwanazi has done. He's putting the police into disrepute. In fact, let me just play that bite for you and for our listeners, our viewers.
It is really disappointing, and we want to try and manage the damage caused already by not entertaining in the public platform what this man is doing to the South African Police Service. He's causing the South African Police Service, he's putting them, it's a serious disrepute. And we're trying to avoid that as the South African Police Service. But what I want to say is that he's saying what he's saying, and I can tell you that he doesn't know what he's talking about. To start with.
And just added to that as well, Leigh-Ann, he says the man is defying the minister at all costs. And that, I think, is an important breakdown to highlight, is what it took for Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi to bring all of this to the public domain when he is answerable to his seniors, including the police minister. What does it say to you about what dynamic exists now inside the SAPS leadership?
Ima, this is what happens when the South African Police Service is supposed to be protecting the country. Instead, they are operating a criminal syndicate themselves. So the very few good officials that we have left, they are left with no option. And it's not even just unique to the South African Police Service. It just happens in spaces or in organizations where there are few people who are trying to do the right thing and they are overwhelmed by a criminal syndicate or just bad people that are just doing wrong things. And you end up to having no option but having to go out into the public and do exactly that. And as you can see from the responses, both from the minister and both from Sabia, there's no urgency. They don't see that a whole commissioner, a provincial commissioner is out there, and you're saying, I'll respond to it in due time, and then the Sabaya goes on a whole character assassination about the KZN Commission instead of dealing with the allegations. It can't be that he doesn't know that the KZN Commissioner has been gathering all this evidence against him all along. And if he doesn't, what, again, I ask the question, what does that tell you about him running the portfolio that he's supposed to be doing?
Well, Leigh-Ann, in that interview with Thabo Mdluli a little bit earlier on, he did address the issue of the 121 dockets, actually saying the instruction didn't come from him, but from the National Police Commissioner, Fani Masemola, and that if anyone has to be brought in, and I'm paraphrasing, it would have to be questions asked of the National Police Commissioner as well. We have tried to get hold of him, not immediately responsible. But the Police Minister himself, Leigh-Ann, has also responded this afternoon, saying that he will never allow his integrity, nor the ministry or SAPS at large, to be undermined by insinuations made without evidence or due process from anyone, including the Provincial Police Commissioner Mkhwanazi, and they are going to be reviewing what he said. And one of the other things he has committed to is that there would be an investigation conducted. What are your expectations in terms of what you think should happen next, both to the DNC and to the Police Minister as a party?
Well, if they had any level of integrity, they would have actually just resigned already, and they would allow an independent process to have investigations to bring this country to the point that it is, where we can have a commissioner going out and doing a media briefing and providing all these serious allegations is extremely telling about the state of what it's in. So for them to come and talk about integrity when the South African Police Service right now is the chief criminal syndicate operating here, is not going to help us here as South Africans. They must go and resign, and there needs to be, and this EFF, we will write to the Speaker, and we are going to request that must be an independent Parliament inquiry. It must have strict terms of reference, and everybody who has evidence, because there's whistleblowers that have been locked up in prison, they must come and bring it there in Parliament. Let's open this can of worms once and for all. Let it all out. Let everybody reapply for positions. Let them all be re-vetted. And that's where we need to be, because we're going to keep going back and forth. This one, obviously, they're going to deny and say, no, I don't know anything about it. And now they're talking about, oh, we are bringing the whole South African Police Service into disrepute. It is in disrepute. Nobody even wants to go and open cases at the police station, because we know you either have to pay somebody, or the case is just going to end up being a cold case, or you even end up being abused. Who trusts the South African Police Service as it stands now? If we go and open a case, Iman, we go there just to get a reference number so we can go and claim on insurance. Otherwise, if someone broke into your house and you don't have insurance, you won't even bother going to report it. That's how bad it is.
Leigh-Ann, when the party officially is calling for a revetting, who are you calling for to be revetted? The entire police service, the executive? Who exactly is the EFF calling for that revetting? And how are you as a party going to take action to make that happen?
Well, we will put in the request, and we have actually in our debate in Parliament on Friday, and we have called for that through the portfolio committee. But those are things that we will continue using our parliamentary resources that are available to us to be able to do that. And it's all the officials. It starts off right from the top. So we're talking about the commissioners, the deputy commissioners, the provincial commissioners. Everybody must be revetted. There's a list of people that are occupying positions, lieutenant general positions, commissioner, deputy commissioner, that haven't been properly vetted. And it's been going back and forth also in the portfolio committee. So all these things need to be dealt with. It needs to be dealt with speedily. And if Parliament and our Speaker is serious about holding the department accountable and trying to clean up the South African Police Service, that independent committee must be established as soon as possible.
All right, so we heard from Action SA earlier. They've written to the Speaker for a debate amongst all parties, yourselves included, on this particular matter. When we talk about concrete steps from this moment on, Leigh-Ann, what are some of those concrete steps that the EFF has already embarked on to create more accountability and to shed more light on these allegations?
Well, number one, we've already raised the issue in the portfolio committee that the portfolio committee members need to meet so we can outline how are we going to respond to what has has just been revealed.
So you've done that today. You've done that today.
Yes. So that is. So we're just waiting for the chair, Honourable Frolic, to respond to be able to do that, and then the portfolio committee will go ahead and convene a meeting with the minister and with the commissioners that are involved in that. But this is outside of the jurisdiction also of the portfolio committee. It needs to be on a parliamentary level. There's no debate that is going to say, do you know what a debate is? We just go and stand there and we just debate issues, and there's no decisions or anything that are taken from there. We need to move. This is not about flood victims. This is serious. Our country is unprotected. South African citizens are unprotected as we stand right now. So we need to move, and we need to have a parliamentary investigation established. Clear terms of reference must be established for that committee to be able to operate. So at the end of it, those who are implicated, they must be prosecuted and they must go to jail. That's what we need. We don't just need to have a debate there in Parliament for everybody to listen and we use all nice words and nothing happens.
When you say this is not about flood victims, what do you mean?
No, I'm saying because you call a debate to have a debate about when there's a flood, when there's fires. South Africans are not protected at the moment, and there needs to be action outside of us using fancy words during a debate in Parliament. And then we just run it over and over, and there's no action that is taken except that we spoke about it during a debate.
Leigh-Ann, in closing, the minister also said, and I mentioned it earlier, but I want to end on this note, all the statements made by Mkhwanazi in public require an urgent, thorough and transparent investigation on a proper platform. And I mean, we've seen South Africans clamoring for different pieces of action. They want to see the minister step down, etc. Do you believe as a party that what was said in these claims that were made have to still be investigated? They still have to go through a judicial process before they can stand in the way that Mkhwanazi has framed them. So that's on the one front. And then the other is, what are you expecting from the presidency? This is involving a cabinet minister in Ramaphosa's administration.
Yeah, Ramaphosa must fire him. We can't be in a country at the moment where we have... we're talking about a commissioner here. I mean, we're not talking about some whistleblower that has gone and just blown the whistle. We're talking about a commissioner that has released these damning allegations. That minister should have been released a long time ago. Actually, if he had any self-respect, he would have resigned himself. There's not everything that requires, Iman, that there needs to be an investigation before people leave. We are in a horrific state as a country where nobody trusts or has faith in the South African police service. Nobody is going to die. The Minister of Police, he's not going to die if he's released as a Minister of Police. He's not the only person in this entire country that can hold that portfolio. At the moment, he has damning allegations hanging over him. He must step down. He must step down immediately if he thinks that the South African Police Service needs to have some level of integrity, because it's him holding that position that has resulted in the South African Police Service coming into disrepute.
Leigh-Ann Mathys from the EFF, thank you for talking to us this evening. Appreciate your time.